Hi, and welcome back to the Mr. and Mrs. Cox podcast. Today we talk about tips for a peaceful marriage.
Indeed we do. Thank you for tuning in. And trying to have a peaceful marriage. It is very important that the partner you choose is at peace with themselves. And not only that, that you are at peace with yourself. If you're quick to react, emotional, you don't think before you speak or do, there's a chance that you don't have inner peace, and I think that's important in a relationship. You need to make sure that you're good,
Yeah, I think you need to first understand, to reflect on yourself, to check in, okay, how am I feeling and why am I feeling this way? Like after work, you might be stressed, tired, annoyed, and then it's very important to be aware that when you come home, you don't just let loose and let all these emotions out on your partner, but be like, listen, I had just such a hard day, I don't feel good, do you have a moment just that I can let it out? Are you in the emotional state? Is it okay?
So communication then.
Yeah, communication.
It's just better to talk. I mean, whatever you're feeling or whatever you're going through in your relationship, after you've done the self-reflecting, and you know who you are, communication is definitely important in a peaceful marriage. Because, there's just times where you may react off certain situations, but if you have that communication, do you know what? This and that happened today, not really feeling too good. We'll get back to that situation a bit later. And then, we can just take it from there. I just think communication is just very vital, because there's a lot of people who just lash out and then end up realizing later that it wasn't that deep. And they end up apologizing because after they've taken the time to cool down, they realize, do you know what? I overreacted. But if you just speak, because we're all humans and...
what should you speak? What is it that you should say?
Speak your mind. You don't even have to overthink about. Speak about what you're feeling.
I had a bad day. Everything is just annoying. Just looking at you, it's annoying.
I need some peace and quiet. And if you're saying something like that to your wife, that your face looks annoying, I don't think that person should be.
No, but just what I mean, sometimes, you're just so annoyed and stressed, you just let it out everywhere. That's why I'm asking, what is it that you should say? What is it that you should communicate? And I think it's very important just to separate this, this is how I feel within myself because stress, because I worry about money, because all these type of worries. And just to be very clear, this has nothing to do with you, it's not you, it's completely me. And something minor you might do right now, that you left your shoes laying around there, might super annoy me, and that's why I'm gonna lash out on you, but I'm sorry, this is not your fault, this is just because I have too much.
Completely understandable. That's why I think it's very important to understand the purpose and power of men and understanding the purpose and power of women. This book really, really helped me. It's by Dr. Miles Monroe, and because it lets you know how men and women work. So I think knowledge is power, or knowledge is very important in situations like these, because say for example, that I'm not argumentative. I don't react. If someone, or if you was to say something, I'll say, what is it? Because you're not obviously normally like this, and be careful of who you're talking to like that.
So he's very clear. He sets very, very clear boundaries. It's please don't talk to me like this. When I'm annoyed and my voice gets raised, it's don't talk to me like this. And then we take a break.
Yeah.
We breathe.
Take a moment, breathe.
Calm down. And then we can just
speak, we can talk about it, and then, and we just learn and grow from it. But I just think it's really important just to not let things bother you. To understand, for me, I don't argue with people. If someone cut me off or if someone's being rude or argumentative, me personally, words are just words. And you don't know what that person is going through. It's just having that understanding that it's not all about you, you know. You need to think outside of yourself sometimes. You need to realize that people may be going through things and it's not always best to react, because when you react, it's just going to cause a volcanic eruption and it's going to end up being worse, and it could all have been resolved if you just take a moment and just understand and said, hey, this person might be going through something. Let me just leave it. Let me just ignore it. Do you know how many lives would have been saved? How many relationships, marriages, if they never just reacted, they just took a moment, thought to themselves, that person may be going through something. And I think that's a great way to handle conflict as well. Never react. Take some time out. Breathe. Reconnect with yourself. And then go in to speak about it. Because everything can most likely be resolved with just words. And don't hold it in, because when you hold it in, you start to build resentment, and then you end up doing something that you're going to end up maybe regretting later because you just feel disconnected. So it's always just good to feel connected, and you do that by communicating and also having knowledge of how other people work and not getting in your feelings all the time. Stop reacting off emotion. Do you know how many people are 6 feet deep or in prison or just doing very poorly in life because they react off their emotions? And yeah, I just think that's super important.
So what's the takeaway here? Just take a moment, breathe, really take a big inhale, exhale, and then, you know, do what like seems reasonable at this moment, but just give you just that moment just to breathe, to think, and then to be like, okay, what would be the right thing here right now? Is it the right thing to like scream? Is it the right thing to be annoyed? Or maybe should I just like turn away, or, you know, just say like, are you all okay? Are you okay?
Yeah, and sometimes you just need your space. And yeah, you have to understand each other, because a lot of people do work differently. I mean, if there's an issue, I mean, I'll let you know. I'll express the issue. And sometimes I just need my space. I'd go for a walk, go to the gym, just do something, reconnect with myself. But it's just having that open communication and not being afraid to actually just to voice, you know. Yeah, I just think you just really just need to understand each other. And that's why that book is really important, because that book helped me, because women are just built different to men.
What did you understand?
Do you know what I mean? I understand. Like before, I had more patience after reading that book, because I realized that women deal with certain things differently. Well, what I used to do is I used to put myself in that position and be like, oh, I wouldn't react like that. But we're all different. Our life experience, our growing up experience, that's all incorporated of how we act today. So, and females, they take things differently as we do. So yeah, it's just understanding that and just being more patient, giving more time to let the other person express. You know, just really giving someone time and just listen, learning, and just trying to give your best and let them know, I don't understand why it is to be like that, but this is how I would deal with it. I know that's probably not how you do it because we're different. But yeah, but sometimes you don't even have to give a response. Sometimes just listening is more than enough. But communication is definitely important to having a peaceful marriage.
Just because where you said, oh, you learn to be more patient and that everyone's like different when it comes to conflicts and everyone has different needs. And what we learned is like he really likes to resolve things in the moment, and I think it's very typical for men. They just want to solve things like here, right now. Might not apply to everyone, but I think of all men are just more practical.
Yeah.
While females, they just tend to keep the things longer in their head, work on it.
They have to sit on it for a while.
Yeah, they have to sit on it for a while. And like at the very beginning, when we were not aware of that, I was coming up with new things like in the evening or the next day.
Or days later. And I was like, yo, it's finished. It's finished. Why are you opening up wounds again? But yeah, no, understanding that's how women work. You just give time and space, you know. And now I'm not going to be like, why are you bringing up that? Because I just understand that's how women are, you know. They just think of these new things 24, 48 hours later. It's like, hey, fair enough. That's how you work. I'm open to listen.
Yeah. And what I understood is for him it's very important to resolve the things here and right now. So everything that I just have in my mind, every emotions where I feel like I'm not seen or maybe like disrespected or unloved, I would just tell him like right away. And I think that helped a lot that things don't come up later.
Yeah.
It's like I'm hurt because you were angry just because the tone you chose. I got hurt from that. Like just things like these minor things we really like. Within a year we realized it. Like just like when he's like frustrated, then he might look a certain way, or he uses a different voice, and this just like triggers me. And or when you're frustrated, you take a bit more like physical distance, but you want to resolve these things. But for me, in order to resolve things, I need to feel safe and loved. So I asked him then, because he says, I still love you even if I'm frustrated. And I was okay, could you please like hold my hand then, or take me in your arm? And like this, we create this compromise of resolving things in the moment, while I also get like this safeness, security, and love. I need to be comfortable and open up.
It's very it's helpful to meet each other somewhere in which we can both resolve it in a peaceful manner, because you actually have to realize sometimes that relationships, marriages, friendships, they're not always 50-50. Sometimes it's going to be 40-60. Sometimes it's going to be 30-70. That sometimes you're going to have to, so it's just like how, what you just said. Sometimes when I'm frustrated, I like to take my distance. But I know that with distance, it creates something within inside you which you don't like. So I have to hold your hands or give you a hug just to make you feel better, you know? And even though it's not something that I like to do when I'm feeling a type of way, we have to compromise, you know? And sometimes that's 70-30. Sometimes, you know what I mean? You have to realize it's not always 50-50. Sometimes you're going to have to do more. And it's vice versa. Sometimes you do more. Sometimes I do more. And it's just a partnership that works. And what we do is, it's for the long game, you know? It's for the long game. It's just like at your parents, you know what I mean? It's not always 50-50 with them, and they've been married for like over 30 years. Some of my grandparents, they've been married for over 50 years. Yeah, they say the same, that they just have to do things. Another person has to do more than the other person at times. But it's for the betterment, for the long term, you know?
Yeah, and I think as with the perspective of working for the long term, when you think, okay, we want to be married for 50, 60 years or as long as possible, then I think it's very important to, like you said, to resolve everything as soon as possible. Like, don't keep anything in your head. If there's something that makes you feel resentful, being like, something you feel like against the other person, you need to talk. And I know, like, this is for a lot of people difficult because it comes with conflicts, it comes with difficult conversations.
And it comes with growth as well.
And it comes with growth.
Sometimes people are not ready, but they need to do these things. They need to do the things that make them uncomfortable and to become a better version of themselves.
Yeah.
You need to put yourself in that uncomfortable situation. Do you know how hard it is for men to express? If they're feeling some sort of way, it's hard for men to express. And it's so weird. They should be able to tell their wives anything to how they're feeling, but sometimes they feel less of a man.
Is it? But you always tell me everything.
Yeah, no, of course, 100%, because I am secure within myself.
But do you make an effort to express?
No, because I'm talking about other people that I know that I've worked with. They find it very difficult. But I've read a lot of books growing up in which helped me become the best version of myself, and I'm open-minded as possible. I am never too old to learn, and I will never stop learning, and I will never stop becoming a better version of myself. So yeah, I think with me, it's easy for me to express because I'm happy with who I am.
So the takeaway here is read books about communication, about female men, about marriages, relationships. Like it's just such a big takeaway. Even just like reading a book about communication. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you know yourself? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? How do you deal with conflict? What makes you be at peace? And these are very important things. And knowledge is very helpful in any relationship.
Yeah. What do you need in a conflict? Do you need distance? Because how I grew up, it was like if there's a conflict or something, everyone just like leaves the situation, while he's just like in the conflict. So I had to learn to be in it, to face it. And so yeah, how did you grow up solving conflicts? What do you need for solving conflicts? And then to understand how your partner works. And I think once you understand that, because I think everyone has like a different way of handling conflicts and what they need, I think it's very important to figure this out. And I
really do recommend read these books, Understanding the Purpose and Power of a Woman and Understanding the Purpose and the Power of Men. If you're having any turmoil in your relationship, I advise you to read these books. It is a great book by Dr. Miles Monroe. And thank you very much for watching. We really appreciate your time.
Bye.
Peace.